It's the height of summer. Flowers have started to overbloom and the veg bolt. We have a few projects to finish up on this season with the help of friendly furry company. Some endeavors have proven successful and others not at all. Come learn from our mistakes as we try to get things done while the weather still permits. It's the last week of July and it's sweltering outside. It took a long time for summer to arrive, but now it's definitely here. In the end of May, I transplanted some seedlings into a cut flower bed Chris and I made in spring. It's time to see what it looks like now. A lot of plants have popped up, this one in particular. Any ideas what it is? It's taken over, so I assume it's a weed. Some poppies have finally bloomed, though not the peony variety I expected. Do you recall those sad cosmos seedlings? This is them today. They made it! Okay, it's time to do some much needed de-weeding to clear up some space for other flowers to grow. I'm going to remove the majority of whatever this is, but because it might be something lovely, I'll spare a few. After all, diversity is key to a healthy garden. Whenever I'm pottering around outside, I'm often joined by inquisitive calves. Sometimes I think Chris and I serve as entertainment for them. They just come and stand by and look at what we're doing. Although distracting sometimes, it is cozy with some friendly furry company. I know what you're thinking. It's looking a little bit bare right now. But because of the state of things last month, I decided to sow some more seedlings. So I'll be planting them out here today, and I'm just hoping that there's enough time in the season to let them come into full bloom. I have a few marigold seedlings called Tangerine Gem that I'm planting out at the front of the bed. They grow into small, bushy plants filled with lots of tiny orange flowers, and as the name suggests, they emit a strong, beautiful tangerine aroma. Not only do they make a good cut flower, but they are edible too. Things are looking so much tidier. Now light can reach these tiny seedlings so they can grow. I have a hard time seeing my original plan coming into fruition, but at least a few of the flowers I sowed earlier this year are going strong. Remember those cucumber plants that looked like they were goners? Well, here they are. Loads of cucumbers. I can't believe it. Look at the stems. They're bone dry, yet somehow they've managed to produce this amazing growth. Goes to show you should never give up hope. Not on cucumbers anyway. Let's see how the rest of the kitchen garden is doing. The pak choi has bolted, but not gone to waste. It's been feasted on by some critters. Maybe it's the same creatures that have demolished my runner beans and cavolo. Might as well remove them and sow something else in their place. I have loads of pak choi seeds from plants that bolted last year, so if you're running out, just let one flower and form seeds. You can collect them and use them next year. There we have the little hungry culprit on my chard seedlings. The ant-invaded rocket has also started to bolt. When it gets to this stage, it's too bitter to eat, so they're getting removed and I'm going to replace them with some spinach. I had a few extra courgette seedlings at home, so I thought I'd pop them out too. It's probably too late in the season to get any fruit, but hope is the last thing to die, right? The broad beans are doing well. In fact, if you haven't grown beans before, these are great to start with. They're very hardy and prolific. Once they start getting to this stage, they just need a little bit of support to grow up against, and then you can leave them to do their thing. One year, I will succeed with cabbage. I recently heard of a trick where you can put tomato suckers on top of your kale and it will stop the cabbage moth from laying eggs on it. I'm going to give that a go next year. There are also bacteria that you can spray onto your cruciferous veg that will kill the larvae when they ingest them. These microbes are not dangerous to other animals or insects and are certified for organic farming. I'm also considering giving that a try because I really want to be able to eat homegrown kale and cabbage at least once in my life. I found the growth in the kitchen garden massively delayed this year. I suppose it's not such a surprise because spring was very cold and overcast, as well as most of the summer. What's it been like for you? What has worked well in your garden where you are? Because I don't have an area to make my own compost yet, I decided to try to make liquid fertilizer out of weeds. Nettles are nutrient dense and are great for this purpose. So a month ago, I filled up a bucket with them and covered them with rainwater. They're meant to be stored for up to 2 weeks to ferment, but we unfortunately could not come back within 2 weeks. This is what it looks like now. It has the most putrid smell and it looks like mold is growing on the top of it. There's no way I'm risking putting that on my veg, so it's getting disposed of. Next time, I need to make sure it doesn't go so long and that it gets stirred every now and then during the fermentation process. Let's move on to the final project of the summer, getting a border in place around this mess. 6 weeks ago, I started to clear out some yellow loosestrife that was taking over and planted out some delphiniums I had grown from seed at home. Unfortunately, nature has gotten the best of them. In order to know where to put our border, we need the help of our little friend Foffe. He'll show us where he cuts the grass, and once we know where that is, all that is left is some hard physical labor. In an ideal scenario, we will remove all of the plants in the border, but we don't want to risk killing them, so we're just going to work around them while trying to get rid of as much grass as possible.
Food for the ants, which is everywhere now.
This is a tricky place to put a border because it's on a slope. It takes some thinking and planning to figure out how to best get it as even as possible. Chris needs to cut it in specific spots and screw it together again in order to make the border straight. We have a barren patch close to the driveway where we've previously stored gravel from the barn renovation. The grass removed here will be used to fill in that spot. We need to move quickly though, because the weather shifts within a moment's breath and there's no time to waste. It does, however, give us a well-deserved break. As they say, after rain comes sunshine, and I can now finish off the border. My plan is for it to look like this in a few years' time, so yet again, I'm planting out some delphinium seedlings and hoping some of them will take. They were so easy to grow from seed, I had tons waiting to be planted. I also purchased some ground covering geraniums and hardy mallow and nepeta and have some poppy seedlings to plant out. First I planned where to put them before placing them in the ground. Because big chunks of grass were removed, I need to even out the ground by adding some soil to the border. Let's hope that with a good amount of watering, this takes well. It's close to 11 p.m. now, so it's time for some rest. We'll continue finishing up with gardening tasks tomorrow. In order to keep your garden flourishing, you need to do some deadheading during the summer. Cutting back the nepeta allows it to spurt out some new growth and bloom into late autumn. I also think about the bees. I don't want them wasting their energy flying to nepeta that has already overbloomed. The astrantia has begun to seed, so this is a good time to collect seeds from flowers and other bolted veg that you want to use next year. So this is what purple loosestrife looks like. It seems to have survived an ant invasion as well. Ants surely are the theme of this summer. If you remember, I took some cuttings from my lavender and dianthus this spring. Now I can finally plant them out to fill out the empty space in this flower bed. Fingers crossed they take. One of my favorite plants, the new dawn rose, is too in need of some deadheading. Individual blooms get cut at their base as demonstrated. If, say, you have a whole cluster of blooms to cut back, you snip them off by the first set of 5 leaves below them. By doing so, you prolong the blooming window of your roses and promote more buds to keep coming. The paprika seems to be doing well. Fruiting veg does need some extra nutrition this time of year. And because my liquid weed fertilizer failed, I purchased some organic feed that's meant for tomatoes but should work well for these peppers. Just mix 1 deciliter to 10 liters of water and you're good to go. Before we leave this area, I want to collect some veg for dinner tonight. Even the smallest harvest warms the heart. It's now finally prime time to enjoy what remains of the summer and the beauty nature provides. Savor every moment as if it's your last. Looking forward to seeing you next time. And as always, thank you for watching.